Bada bing bada.
Hi.
Hi. Here we are,
Wow.
episode 18. That's crazy.
Isn't that insane? And I just keep thinking, wow, it was only 3 episodes ago that I started using my mic.
Amber today is not your mom, is her username, I guess. What are we going to call? We're going to call them usernames, I think, moving forward. There's not really a good, actual description. It's kind of just our login name for the day.
Yeah. And
But
you don't have to change it. Like it saves unless you clear your browser a lot, which I do have to clear my browser a lot. But
yeah, mine sometimes saves, and I never clear my
yeah,
browser intentionally.
well, that's on being an HP user.
True. I like how you know the
um,
brand of computer that I have. It's
I know
also
my
a 7-year-old
yeah, that
HP
definitely is the reason. That's the problem. It weighs like 800 pounds.
It does, but it's got the numpad, which I really appreciate in a laptop. You don't get that in laptops every day
What is
anymore.
that?
The numpad, it's where it has
Oh, I thought you were saying like numb, like the number pad. Like, are we
yeah.
just we can't say number? You said numb.
It is, yeah, num, N-U-M. It's like the num lock, the numpad. Do people not say that? Do people not say numpad?
Get them in laptops anymore, so people it's extinct. That's why we don't know how to talk about it. No, I think I would still say number pad. I think I would probably say the whole word.
So
To
I feel like
avoid someone thinking I was talking about being numb. Like, I'm just over here singing Linkin Park.
oh my god. So I feel like one or both of us is being very out of touch
Oh, definitely.
this
It's probably
moment.
both. I feel like, yeah. What do you call that thing? Audience, people. That's we
Listeners,
demand answers from you.
answer us.
How? That was a little scary.
I was, I was trying to get low, kind of like an answer us, but it went answer us. I don't know. It was
It was very serial killer if I'm
yeah,
being honest.
yeah. Hmm.
A little bit. What's going on this week?
So my username.
Just skipped right over it. Totally forgot. It's because I don't have. I need the list up on my computer. I can't just keep going back to my phone. I can't do two devices at once. I'm a boomer millennial. Lori's username today is idyllic impression, but she definitely spelled impression wrong.
Shit.
There's two S's in
There
there,
are two
love.
S's, right? Dang. Could
Yeah.
really use a spell check. Actually, I think spell check is something that's on one of our lists, but we could use one in that little username entry box, but that's okay.
Yeah. The developers of this program aren't very good, as we've noted. So
Yeah, we
makes sense that they
are.
don't spell correct. Yep.
So, do we have any updates this week?
Man, I really skipped over a
You
bunch of
really
shit.
jumped. You were just sleeping forward. Yeah. Amber was like, this is a late recording. Let's get
We're
to it.
gonna get there. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty excited about this first update because apparently Chappelle Roan calls herself Chapel.
Oh, so
And
she is
we
Chapel Roan then.
yeah, so either really works. And I saw a bunch of videos of her performing at the Gov Ball in New York. And it's like green and she was in an apple and
No.
it was very weird and awesome. But I saw a video of her watching another performance at that concert and people were screaming chapel.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
But yeah, I just thought that was amazing because we were struggling so hard with
Yeah.
pronunciation the last episode. Other update, total bullshit. Emily in Paris comes out soon, like next month, I think, August. And they're doing the same shit where they drop the first half of the season and then a month later they drop the second half. And I just want to say, Netflix, you're pissing everybody off, okay? And if this season of Emily in Paris is as dumb as the last one, we'll have more words.
And I'll tell you what, Netflix, you're pissing everyone off on like a few fronts. Like there's the whole, and I actually canceled my Netflix until recently. Netflix is one of my least stream services because they don't provide a lot of great content, if we're being honest. But they like have started this thing where it's hard to like log in from different devices or like different places. Like if you're traveling and using your computer, you have to like, I don't know, go through some kind of process to like prove
Yeah.
that it's you.
You
That,
can't share logins basically with other people.
but it also makes it more difficult for someone who is not even sharing their login and just traveling. Like, no, go
Yeah.
fuck yourself, Netflix. Like, are you serious? No other streaming service is doing that. Sorry, I have a
And
bone to
you
pick.
can't be like, I want to see the numbers. Like, what were they making before they made that a thing? And what are they
Right.
making now? Are they like really raking it in? Like no, I feel like more people probably canceled out of like
Great
just
point.
being pissed off. It's dumb. I think we can collectively agree. We all have had a shared experience with being pissed off at Netflix.
Mhm.
So maybe not Tiny Clocker's shared experience, but
Don't bring up the clockers.
I'm gonna have to again in funny texts, but I'm sorry. It's just like always playing in the background, and we slowly just start like
In
losing
the
it.
distance, only when it's silent.
Only when it's silent. Yeah. That's fair.
I listened to Sabrina Carpenter
Nice.
for the
Her
first
new
time.
song.
I did hear that one and I liked it. It was a bop. Actually, you sending me that in like a reel or something. I was like, oh, okay. I gotta listen
Yes.
to this. And then I listened to some of her other stuff while I was working. I don't know the words, the names to the songs because I just kind of
That's
like
okay.
hit play. But I'm a fan. I like it.
She's a little pop princess. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
I love in the new song when she says motherfucker. Like
Yes.
that's been in my head on repeat since I watched the music video. And in fact, people have really pissed me off this week, and I can't tell you how many times
Mm-hmm.
under my breath I was just like motherfucker. Like what's going on this week since I couldn't wait to get here?
Here we are. Maddie Healy got engaged. I want to say I saw the news. I believe this morning.
Yeah, same.
Um. So, whoa.
I just
Is
want to say though, like the girl that he's engaged to, they seem like they would be together.
they do?
Like
I had a
they
similar feeling. Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, that looks right. Like they look
Mm-hmm.
like the male female version of each other
They
type of
do.
thing.
Yeah. Just totally like based
Same
on
vibe.
the photos that I saw.
Right.
Um.
I have no idea who she even is.
Same. Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I know who Maddie Healy is because of Taylor Swift. Like I don't care about the 1975.
I never heard of them before until the Tortured Poets Department. Literally, like even his earlier
Mhm.
affiliation with Taylor Swift did not trigger me knowing who he is. It was not until
No.
very, very recently,
Yeah.
April 19th to be specific. Actually, a little bit before that, that I knew
That's
who he
amazing.
was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, everyone's like, oh, so soon, blah blah blah, which I think is like just like whatever. If they're happy, they're happy. Do it up.
Yeah.
But he is the smallest man who ever lived, so we'll just leave it there. I
Yeah,
think.
and House of the Dragon is coming out this weekend. I don't know if you are a House of the Dragon fan or Game of Thrones fan, but we be watching that shit in this house. We like dragons, okay? This is its second season, just to give you a little background, Tori. And in the first season, there's a question of who's going to inherit the throne, and the king dies, and someone takes the throne, but it's not the person that everybody thinks is going to be taking the throne. And then some people die. And so it basically ends, and you're like, oh my God, these two sides are going to be like, they're going to fucking kill each other. Like the premiere was in New York City. And so all these different places in New York had these different colored flags. and
Oh.
they were posting like on social media like, oh, the Brooklyn Bridge has been claimed by Castle Black because it's Black's first
What?
greens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so it's just like so cool seeing like the flags drop. I just thought it was such a good way to interact with the fans. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
that's
just thought that was
really
so cool.
cool marketing.
Yeah, great job.
Mhm.
I loved it. And then they just kept like different locations throughout New York City would have like different color flags and stuff. It's like, oh, you have to choose your side. Are you black or team green? And
Are you black or green? Also, before you answer, just little tidbit, I cannot not think of Reputation anytime I hear black and green in the same sentence, but we can let that
yes,
go. And which team are you?
black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm black too then.
Yes, by
Okay.
association. Yeah.
So, this week I had someone reach out to me to be on a sports team. I have never, ever, ever, ever been asked to be on a sports team. I have played independent sports that I've been successful at, but I've always had a thing against team sports. I don't like the pressure of like
Yeah,
other people's results relying on me.
that's fair.
Um, so someone asked me to play on their disc golf team. And I haven't seen this person. I saw them last in 2021. And they texted me and said, "Hey, would you like to be on our team?" And this is like a different kind of disc golf than you usually play. It's usually like individual, but this is like team match play. So like the scoring works differently and it's like a bit more competitive and you're playing
Okay.
like more rounds on a team in one day. Um and I said, I'm very interested. Yeah, I was so honored to be
Yeah,
asked.
that's awesome.
Yeah, to be on a sports team. And I was like, "Oh, I'm honored you asked me." I think I said. And I was like, "Let me see if I can get a babysitter on that day because Brian is in the same tournament type thing for men. So there's a
Oh,
men one
gotcha.
that you actually have to like qualify for to get into.
Mhm.
And it's a big thing regionally. All the different cities like go against each other, different regions like go against each other. And it's like a geographic battle, which is pretty cool because you don't get that in disc golf very often. So that's the same thing that the women's thing is, except you don't have to qualify because there's not enough women who want to do it. So it's kind of like you just pick your own teams. Um, and show up or register and then show up. So she asked me to be on the team and I said, "Let me see if I can get a babysitter." And she said, "Oh, you're old enough to have a baby," or something along those lines. And I so I think I've mentioned this, but I am 34. And I would say I look my age. And it was just a funny question. I was like, maybe she's trying to give me some like compliment or like saying I look younger. So
Yes.
I didn't even respond to that. I kind of and I was like,
Thank
I'll
God.
yeah, and I was like, I'll let you know if I can get a babysitter. So I did. I got a babysitter and I reached back out to her and I was like, "Okay, I got a babysitter, like I'm in." And she said, "Okay." And they have so just like the professional golf association, there's a professional disc golf association. Um and you have like a registered player number pretty much. And she asked me, I think I remember you telling me at this specific tournament that you didn't have a player number and that's okay. I just wanted to double check before like I get things set up. And I thought it was odd she said that too cuz I'm like, did I see her at that tournament? The one that she mentioned. I have played that tournament before, but I don't remember seeing her there. But I was like, I've seen her around a lot. So I was like, I
Right.
probably did see her and I just don't remember. So I sent her my player number. And then she gets back to me a couple hours later and she was like, "Oh, I thought you were a different Victoria." So I wasn't really wanted on the team. They were me wasn't who they were going for, I guess. So then it became this very awkward scenario.
You're like, "Can I still play with you?"
I no, I was actually like, "Oh, well, I totally understand like if you guys don't need someone of my rating because I think they need different people in certain divisions and
Sure.
I'm in a division, and like one of the more common divisions too. So I'm like, oh, totally okay if you don't like need someone of my division. She was like, no, I mean, we may have to like move things around between one of the other teams, but we'd love for you to play with us. So
Oh my God.
it's
It's
so
like,
awkward.
it is, because it's like you don't want to like back out of it, because
Mm-mm.
like that would be weird. It's weird no matter what.
It is, yeah, and I think I'm just gonna do it,
Yeah.
because
Also,
I'm on
who
the
knows that
team
many
now.
Victorias? Like, that's not that, I don't know. I don't feel like that's
There's
that common of a name.
there's one more.
There's 3 of you?
No, there's only 2.
Oh, okay.
There's just one more besides me. Yeah, it's me and that other girl.
Well,
That's
she's
it.
got to change her name.
Mhm, mhm. So, the first sports team I've ever been asked to be on, they didn't mean to. Another, I guess, funny story we could just kinda touch on, and I will say, okay, so I had a therapy appointment today, and it was like a therapy chat one, so it's not like we were doing video or anything. But my therapist did not show up to it. Um,
Done
you never.
ghosted you.
I will say you never want to be ditched, but you really don't want to be ditched by your
By your
therapist.
therapist. I was thinking about that. Like, what does it take for a therapist to end the relationship? Like, obviously, for us to end the relationship, it's like she could breathe wrong, and I'd be like, I'm not going her again. Like,
Right.
it is what it is. But like, how common is it for a therapist to cancel the relationship? And if so, like, how do they break it to you?
I also wonder that, and I think they probably don't unless it's like in person. Like my therapist is like mostly on an app, so she could very easily probably just hit a button that says like leave this client, block this client or something,
Yeah.
and move on. But if it's in person, I assume they probably have to like address it face to face in some way. But I took a psychology class in college, and I remember them going over this, like if
Oh.
you are like a psychiatric provider of some sort, that like you may get to a point with your client when like you feel like it's too much for you, and like you have to end the relationship like as the provider. So
Yeah.
um do you think
Yeah.
she's leaving me?
No, I was worried mine was gonna leave me because I cried in the first 30 seconds of my first appointment with her.
But yeah, if being ditched by your therapist is an interesting feeling, I think in my I will say in my manic state, I did more things to my hair. It's like every time I get manic, you can expect some kind of hair change from me.
Yeah.
And I had some like leftover purple dye, and I just kind of bopped it in the little blonde parts at the bottoms. Don't like it, I will say.
I just can't believe that the 100% karma truther that you are, that you didn't go with orange.
Yeah. So you
Like,
know
what
what
made you choose
happened?
the purple? Tell me.
Yeah, yeah. So I pulled both out, right? I had a good amount of orange and a good amount of purple. And literally, so I decided I was going to do this about 30 seconds before kind of going into action of actually doing it. So I said, yeah, that sounds fun. Directly to under my sink where I keep the
Mhm.
dyes. I pulled out the 4 containers I have, 2 orange and 2 purple. And the
Mhm.
purple was closer to my hand. And I said, well, it's
That's
been
a
40.
way to make a decision. That is
I
a way.
said, yeah, it's been 45 seconds since I decided this, and I haven't made a decision yet. So purple it is.
Also, orange I feel like could be like not show up as much, you know? Like
I
it
think,
could like really blend in with like what you already had going on. So like the purple to me was like the more bold choice.
yeah, it's just like my brown has like coppery tones to it, and that looks kind of funny with this like, I don't know, like magenta kind of purple.
Mhm.
So I feel like the orange would have been a much better choice. But the good news is this washes out in a couple weeks. So orange
Yeah.
will be here soon, and we'll be on, it'll be just in time for the karma announcement maybe, or we're
It'll
gonna have a
happen when it's
karma.
supposed to. Like the times will tell you when your hair is supposed to be orange, and then you'll go
Mhm.
into a manic state and you'll dye it orange.
Some people do think we're gonna hear about a karma announcement or rep announcement tomorrow. So
Ooh,
just
I mean,
bopping that out there. It's the 100th show. And then she's done like some things in her post where like when she does the little soon emoji, um she did it 2 times in the cities before the 1989 announcement, and then she did it in the last 3 cities. She did it 2 cities ago and then didn't do it in the last one,
mm,
which is the same as what she did before the 1989 announcement. So
I don't think she sleeps. I don't think
she can't.
there's like, she's just always planning.
If anyone is part of the Illuminati, like AI bot
Yeah,
thing, it's Taylor Swift.
that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah.
So I have a different kind of wine today for the wine review.
Nice. Was it
Like
BOGO?
it was not BOGO. It was not even a bottle. So it's a box, and you would think when I say box, I mean like a big box wine. No, this is a little petite box.
It's a small little box.
It's so small. I went disc golfing the other day and I got 2 of these before and I only had one while playing. So I had this
Nice.
one left over. It was all I had. So
I feel like it has the same amount of wine as a bottle.
I thought that as well because it looks big, right? But it's not. It's almost so it's 3 glasses. And a
Okay.
bottle's what, 4 or 5 glasses
Yeah.
about. So
Depends on who's pouring the glass, but yeah.
mhm.
I don't think there's an even number of glasses in wine, to
No,
be
it's a
honest with you. It's like 3.5,
500 500 milliliters, and then I think a bottle is like 750.
700. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
So it is a Vendange Chardonnay. Vendange.
Is that the brand or
Yeah,
the type?
Chardonnay is the type.
Chardonnay. I thought you were saying I thought you were like saying like there's different types of Chardonnay. This one, it's like this kind of Chardonnay.
No,
Like I don't think
Vendange is
that's
the brand.
that's incredible. And honestly, every time I think of box wine, I just think of It's Always Sunny when they were putting like the wine
I
in
love it.
the cans.
So funny. So funny. If anyone is listening to this and they have not watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, literally what are you doing with yourself? Like
Yeah,
you absolutely have to go watch it. It's
it's probably the best show of all time, honestly.
I can't think of a funnier one.
No, no,
Mm-mm,
you won't. You won't.
mm-mm.
Oh my
They
god.
also have a podcast. Amber, I don't know if you've heard it, but that's hilarious too. So,
Yes.
mhm.
They're
Watch
so
it,
funny. They're
listen.
all so funny. It's nuts.
So, I would give it a 6.5. It's
Oh.
okay. It's not
Oh.
the worst. It's not the best. It's not in my typical price range. It's a little low in the
Yeah.
price range. So I think I'm giving it a 6.5, anticipating a headache later. So
Yeah. I think you should also just pop it into a can real quick and just see if that helps.
it does kind of give like It's Always Sunny, like drinking.
Just saying
Anyway,
boxed wine. Like it's not even like it's just funny calling it boxed wine.
I feel like I should go find like an empty suntan lotion bottle to
Yes.
pour it into. So, how do we feel about Facebook?
I mean, I regularly delete the app off my phone. Like if I have a storage issue, the first thing I'm going to delete is Facebook.
Okay.
Also, really don't appreciate that they want us to have 2 apps for Facebook, one for Facebook and one for
Mm,
Messenger. Eat a bag of dicks, Zuck. No, thank you. I will not download a second messaging app
mhm.
onto
I've
my phone. Text me. I know you love a Facebook message, Tori.
Yeah. I've literally like transferred whole group chats to text though for you.
I know. I
So
know. Cuz I keep all social media notifications are muted. How do we feel about it? It's mostly like I think the reason I don't use it that much is because it's just like people I went to high school with or angry family members.
No, I feel that. Yeah. I also use it the least. And when I open the app and I have like usually I wake up in the morning, right? And I have like 8 Facebook notifications
Yeah.
on a given day. I wake up, I hit the little notification part in the app, literally don't look at any of them and
No.
flip away. So also because half the notification like way more than half actually, like 90% of the notifications are 100% irrelevant
Right.
to me or my life or anything that I'm doing.
Right.
Uh, but the interesting part of it to me is like you mentioned that it's always the first to go and you're always deleting it off your
Mhm.
phone, which means that you must also always be re-downloading it. And like and
Okay.
same, like I don't even like it and it's I still open the notifications thing.
The only reason I ever add it back, it's always for work. It's always like I
Oh,
need to look
okay.
up something because Facebook now, if you try to go to someone's Facebook page to look at something, it forces you to log in. Um,
Okay.
and so for me, I use a lot of my clients' social media profiles when I'm building their website. I reference all of those, especially if it means that I have access to like more photos and more content that is relevant that they haven't given me. Um,
Mhm.
so it's 99% of the time, um, it's because of work, and the other
Okay.
1% of the time is, I'm sleuthing for something.
Yes, okay. Um, okay, yeah, I can get behind that. I think that my draw to it is just that, like, there's so many people that I have in my friends list on Facebook that I have no other social media connection to. And, like, are we super close? No, but do I not like that person? Also, no. And,
Yeah,
like, I
true.
like to see the updates, everyone the person I rode horses with, 10 years ago who's having a baby now. I kinda like to see it.
Yeah.
Um, is it needed in my life? Probably not, though, but
I just forget a lot of people are alive until I go on Facebook, and then I'm like, "Oh, yeah.
Mhm,
Wow." It's like a
mhm.
whole other world.
You get that sometimes you think about that person who sat diagonally from you in high school chemistry class, and you're like, "Whatever happened to that?" "Oh, yeah, we're Facebook friends. I can just bop on there and figure it out real quick." So,
Yeah.
I do like it, and I will say the Messenger app, like, fuck Facebook, but the Messenger app, that's key. You're kinda crazy for not being on the Messenger app.
Mm-mm, I refuse. I'm good. There's too many means of communication anyway. Like, I'm not giving
That's
people
true.
one more. Yeah, no, don't fucking send me a Facebook message. I won't read it.
No, she won't. Trust me, I've tried.
Even if it's juicy, I'll be like, skip. No,
Yeah.
thanks. I'm
No.
good. I've tried. She has. She has given it the old college try and it just hasn't panned out.
A few times, yeah. So then I just moved moved group chats. We did that
Yeah.
to
That
the
was amazing.
to the
And I still
Messenger app.
have like limited responses, but
Mhm.
I know
You
what's
pop
going
in
on
though.
more often than not. I always catch up. It's just a matter of when.
Any texts is where we're at. Maybe we should mention too that we didn't necessarily mean to forget our two new segments last week. However, we did.
We definitely did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy week, and we were just jumping into the routine to get through the recording. This is from an anonymous source,
Okay.
and let's see, it looks like I sent some kind of voice note, and all I see in the voice note is, "Do you ever wake up starving and you're just thinking like, what are you even duh?" Which I'm assuming is what are you even doing? Um, and then the person who responded to me said, "Ha ha ha, yeah, all the time. Then I give my body the caffeine and the THC and it shuts up for a bit." And I said, "LOL, that's my plan." With the little laughing emoji.
That's incredible. This one's anonymous.
Okay.
And I'm not going to give context because I can't. But the
Okay.
text is still really funny.
Okay.
It's you brought half a broom to a machete fight. And honestly, that's how I feel anytime someone does something stupid. You brought half a broom to a machete fight. So it's our catchphrase now.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a text from an anonymous friend of mine.
Okay.
And they texted me. It just made me think, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could adapt to other people's feelings on a whim? Therapy has me all weird. Ignore me, please. But I just saw that and I was like, that's golden,
Yeah,
though.
I feel
Mhm.
that. I do feel
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like there's so much interpretation that can be done here as well. It really kind of lets me explore a little bit, like
Yeah.
mentally, like adapt to other people's feelings on a whim. Like I love that. Like just kind of, sit next to you're having a bad day,
Yeah.
sit next to someone who's having a lovely day, and you're like, could I
Yes.
not steal from you your lovely, but just kind of like feel it a little bit
Right.
and then also be
Yes.
lovely?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I think
Mhm.
if you could choose someone else's, like, not necessarily like choose your mood, but choose based on like what other people around you, so that
Mhm.
like you're just always on the same page, even if you
And
choose like the bad emotions, if somebody's feeling those around you,
right.
like
Yeah.
camaraderie, bitch.
It's like, "Oh
Like,
my god, all of a sudden I understand. I know what you feel." Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could
No,
help.
that's deep. That's deep. Yeah.
This next one is from Tori. Um, she says, "How out of touch of me to spend so long looking for a dot gif that it ended up not being relevant anymore, and me writing dot gif." Like, just we're just so on brand. And honestly, this probably could have been saved for the list we're gonna do later in the episode, but
That's so true.
it's like a double doozy one. Yeah.
We cannot help but be on brand. Thank God we named our podcast this.
Yeah, it's accurate. It's so accurate. What's your next one?
My husband texted me and he said, "I'm hungry. Have you eaten lunch yet?" And I said, "Also hungry. What should we do about it?" And I put aboot, ABOOT. Why did I do that? I have no idea. It would just kind of felt right in the moment. And then he responded, "Canadian food?" Cuz aboot. Okay. And then he said, "What even is that? Like Tim Hortons?" And I said, "I think so."
It's like
Or
maple syrup.
I said, "Or moose?" And then
With
he
maple
said,
syrup.
"Correct. Yeah, yeah." And he said, "Perfect. So we'll get some moose kebabs with gravy fries on the side." I actually really want gravy fries right now. And I said,
Poutine.
I would kill for some poutine, is how I responded. And he said, "I would like some poutine in my mouth." And that's where it ended.
It's so good. That's great.
We ended up getting BJ's, which is far from poutine or Canadian food. But it's in Florida. It's hard to get Canadian food.
I was gonna say, like, where the fuck are you getting Canadian
Yeah,
food even?
there are places that do poutine, but it's not like I feel like it's always like some like crafty like
Yeah.
artisan like take on
Yes.
it, and so just give me fucking
That
fries
bar we
and
went
gravy.
to, they're known for their poutine.
Okay,
Or that's why I
so
know them. I don't know if others do, but that's how I know them because 'cause I'm like,
so
"There's poutine."
next week.
Yeah.
Okay,
Totes my goats. And we have to just be clear when we get there, like, we're only here for the poutine, okay?
that's it. Yeah, and well, I might get a drink if we're gonna go to a bar.
Yeah, they have a good Hefeweizen.
Mm.
Hefeweizen.
I used to
Hefeweizen.
have Hefeweizen used to be my favorite beer. And then I like got this thing where I don't like wheat beers all of a sudden. Like used to love Blue Moon and Hefeweizen.
Same.
Yeah. And
I
then
just don't really like beer that much anymore. Like, I like a sour, which
I
always
was
reminds
gonna
me of you.
say I
Yeah.
really love a good sour, but yeah, and I a good lager too. I like here and there, or a crisp pilsner.
Yeah.
Um,
The next one is like 5 screenshots, so it's actually just a conversation pretty
okay,
much.
but it's
Um,
text, so it falls under the category of funny text.
yes, and I'm gonna try to be very clear about who's talking when. Um, so that it's not as confusing. So the first part of this is all Birdie's just like inner dialogue. She's just texting me like one text after another, you know, when you do stuff like that, like
Yes.
you just keep
Mhm.
thinking of something. Okay, so she
Mhm.
says, listening to your new episode, and in the beginning, when you ask the viewers if they know who Birdie is, I'm so intrigued. Let us know, guys. Do you know who the fuck Birdie is or not? Somebody email us for Christ's sake. Um, Also, in regards to tiny clockers, first, when I went to type it in, it changed to Tony. Just a thought. Said, I think Tori's future self decided how to time travel and came back to give y'all an Easter egg about something. So I think at some point in the future, something will happen and it will click into place. And then
I would say it will clock into place.
it will clock into place. Yeah, definitely. Then she said she loves the the how do you feel section. Um, and she says, "Sorry, you're getting my thought train as I listen to the episode. Is a mirror ball not just a disco ball?" And I finally text back and say, "It is a disco ball, but mirror ball is the title of a Tay track."
Right.
And she said, "Okay, I'll file that under boomer era." Yes.
Mm. So this one's from an anonymous friend. They texted me and they said that they're doing WFB over
Mhm.
here today. And I know this code WFB. It's kind of new to me, but I know that it means work from, and then it can be bed or bath. There's a couple different things that the B can stand for. So I said bed question mark, bath question mark, or both. And then they said bed, then bath, then beyond. And then they corrected it and said no, that was backwards. Actually bath, then bed, then beyond, which I'm so glad that they corrected it, because I was a little concerned with the
About
bed
the
and then
order.
the bath. Like, you don't want to be that drowsy going into the bath. Like,
Right.
it could get a
Right.
little bit dangerous.
This one I will be giving to you in lieu of the book section because
Okay.
this week I decided for reading, I had been reading that rom com book by Emily Henry, and I hadn't gotten very far into it yet. S- but Birdie had read this fantasy book. Her daughter's teacher actually gave it to her, and she was like, "Oh, I know you love to read, and like you like this genre. You should read this book." And so she borrowed the book from her daughter's teacher, and I immediately was like, "Bet I'm gonna buy the Kindle version, and we'll read it together." Well, she breezed through it really fast, and I kept forgetting I bought it. And she confirmed that it was really good. So now I'm
Oh,
like, okay,
okay.
well, I have to read it. It's called The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Okay,
Okay.
so it's another one of these fantasy series. I'm only a few chapters in, but this girl is a human. She's in a world basically full of vampires, and she is going to go into this trial where whoever wins is granted some special favor, or they can ask something of this goddess. Well, the tone of the book got a little strange in the beginning, and the way this girl was talking about her dad, who is not her biological father, it's this vampire dude that has taken care of her whole life. The way she starts talking about him, it gets a little questionable. Okay, and I
I
know
don't love that.
I
I don't.
know from
All of a sudden, I am appalled.
yes. Okay, so as a book girly, I know some storylines get weird. Okay, they get weird sometimes. So I was like, I picked up my phone and I was like, Birdie, please tell me this girl doesn't end up with her dad. Okay, and she says, absolutely not. And I said,
Good
I'm still on
Lord.
chapter 3, but it sounded real incesty the way this chick is talking about her dad. And she said, she doesn't, but it gets wild. I thought that for a second too. So I'm just like, what is actually going to happen? So
My
nothing,
face over
nothing.
here is just like, what the fuck?
So you're telling me no, she doesn't get with her dad, but like it gets wild. So something out of pocket is going to happen.
In what sense? Yeah.
But this led us to another conversation where she says, did you see the Corn Daddy Instagram reel? This is the same conversation. Yeah.
Mhm.
She
You would
says,
think it's not,
but it is.
but it is.
And
Okay.
she says, did you see the Corn Daddy Instagram reel? And I said, what the fuck did you just say to me?
Appropriate.
And
And
she
what
just
else
sent all the crying
literally
emojis. And I
what else
said,
could you say to that?
right. And I said, who the fuck is Corn Daddy? And she said, it's a book and someone reviewed it, and go watch the Instagram reel because I'm traumatized. And so I go and I search back through our messages and I find and we will give you, I will go back in the show notes and put the creator's handle and a link to this video because it is unhinged. And if I have to know that this book exists, so do all of our listeners. But I just want to leave you with one final line from said video where the book reviewer lets you know his cum is butter, and Corn Daddy is an actual corn. He is a giant corn.
And this
is a real book. Someone wrote this book. Someone edited this book. People read this book.
Multiple people were involved in this?
That's the impression I got.
It's published. It's
yes. I will send
a
you.
publisher who said, yeah. Corn can't produce butter. Can we just talk about that for a second?
That was like the top comment. The comments, when you want to laugh hysterically about this, once you get past the PTSD a little bit and you're ready to live again, go to the comments. They don't disappoint, but so many people are like, corn doesn't produce butter. That's so stupid.
My last text, it's actually not funny, but it's very sweet. Someone texted me today and said, I also meant to tell you I've been listening to your podcast while I work, and it makes me feel like I have friends here talking to me, with the smiley emoji, and then it says LOL, it's so great. And I said, oh, I love that. That's exactly what we're going for. And then they said, you nailed it. When I'm feeling a little isolated working from home, I will put this on and it always helps.
That makes me so happy. It's so nice.
Sweet. So sweet.
Consumption section.
That's what I'm doing all week, is I'm just consuming trash TV.
Yeah.
So I finished Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Wow.
I'm caught up.
How does that feel?
It feels good and also empty. Because it's been like a 6-month journey.
Yeah.
Getting through that. And I'm pretty sad to see Kyle and Mauricio divorcing as well. Like, they just always seem to have a great relationship, but there have always been rumors and stuff too, and it seems like, and it's all speculation, but it seems like maybe some of them may have been true. But I just wish the best for Kyle and stuff moving forward. And I was a little sad we don't have Lisa Rinna on the most recent season, which I thought she's been on it for, I want to say, since like season 4 through like 13, something like that. But she's been going through a lot, and she always goes, it's wild because she'll be like completely normal for like a whole season, and you're like, oh, well, she's like gotten over like, you know, being so manic and stuff, and then the next season like something snaps in her and she's out again.
Yeah.
So I started Real Housewives of New York. That has been my advised next one. And I will say, I cannot believe that they have not just like removed this season from existence. I can't believe it's out there still for people to consume in this day and age because it's giving outdated in an insensitive way.
Yeah.
Um there's like a lot of focus on one of the teenage daughters like being not skinny enough.
We
She like goes away to this detox center for like losing weight, and she's gone for 8 days and loses 11 pounds and then comes back and her whole family's like, oh my god, your belly is so flat, and like, and she's smaller than I am too. And
Who are your favorites of the New York Housewives so far? Because
it's
you have
too, I think the Countess so far is my favorite. She's the only one that, and again, I'm like 2 or 3 episodes in, so like I'm sure she's gonna do things in the future that make me change my opinion, but I think right now
she pretty
she's
much
my
stays
favorite.
hilarious, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll all piss you off at some point for sure, but I feel like Luann
Mhm.
is just like she's out of touch, like for sure out of touch, and it's
Mhm.
hilarious.
I don't know, she just seems very charismatic and, like, she
Mhm.
seems like my favorite. She's definitely my favorite so far.
I
And
think
the
that
other
she's one
ones
of the
I
most
can,
entertaining. Yeah.
yeah, the other ones I can barely put a name to them yet. I'm still kinda getting my bearings. I was just so disturbed by the whole
Yeah.
teenager needing to lose weight and, like, us celebrating it. Rihanna is on Love Island, which Amber, have you ever watched Love Island?
I have, but I
Okay.
haven't watched it in a few years, so I don't know if I watched the US version or not. I can't remember. So I am familiar with it. I'm not like a huge Love Island fan, but I have seen it. Yes. Yeah.
I watched it like the first few UK seasons, and
Mhm.
that sucked me in. It was so good. I really like those seasons, but I really like Ariana as a host so
She's
far.
very natural.
She's
Yeah.
doing a really good job with it. Like,
Yeah, I thought she did great.
song intro, who wrote that? Is this a thing every season?
I did write that. They like in the intro of the show, they were like lip syncing a song, like the whole cast. Do they do that every season?
I was wondering that as well because again, I've seen like some older seasons, but I've never watched the US. I think I tried to watch the first season of the US and it felt like weird to me, so I just like stopped. So I've never watched the US one, and I've certainly never seen any seasons in the last like 5 years. So
Okay.
I don't think they used to do that, but
Yeah.
maybe that's like a thing now. Let us know.
It was just a little weird to me. Like I know we're in
It
like
is.
the TikTok generation, everybody's out here lip syncing music, but it
It
was
felt
just like,
awkward.
I don't think I
It
like that.
it feels odd for
It
sure.
was cute at the end, like how Ariana came in and then like they're all on the like
The boardwalk.
boardwalk runway thing and like they're all in sync. Like that was cute, but I was like, maybe they could have just done that.
Yeah.
It's just a lot
And
to
I
handle.
remember thinking, like, seeing Ariana do that, like, dang, she's like, I didn't expect her to like fit that role so well. And then I
Mhm.
remembered, oh, well, she was on Broadway recently. Like, she knows what she's doing with like hitting the mark and singing the line. And,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a different role because I didn't see any of her Broadway stuff. So it's like
No,
a
I haven't
different
either.
role for me to see her in.
Yeah. I think
It's
it
cool.
it suits her and she looks incredible.
Gorgeous.
Like
That's
there was did you send it or somebody sent something? It might have been where it was like the comments of all the Bravo people. Yes.
oh,
And she's wearing a gold dress
that gold
and
dress.
Sheena's comment is a golden goddess. So
Okay.
she said something nice, but it's just like, is Ariana allowed to wear gold?
I'm surprised that Sheena didn't say all caps the and then not caps golden goddess.
Or like she's good as gold or like Shameless plug.
Right.
I just want to know if the invite for coming on the show for the females specifically, if it said like must bring neon bathing suits, multiple neon bathing suits. Like they all had like a highlighter colored bikini on. I don't know if it was just like coincidence. Maybe highlighter colors are like really in right now. I wouldn't know because I'm out of touch.
I thought it was beiges. Remember we were just talking a couple episodes, like neutrals, like
Yeah.
whites, tan, beige.
Yeah. It's like the complete opposite. Like
Love Island does have like a theme of like being over the top. So like it's
yes.
always like super attractive people.
Yeah.
And it's always over the top, like outfit wise and stuff. I do wonder like how much clothes do they bring? You know, like do you think they show up with like 18
Yeah.
suitcases?
Well, and how much direction are they given
Right.
on that too?
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of the people I like, honestly, so far.
One guy, Cordell, his brother is a famous football player.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
thought that I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Odom. I looked at
Odell
Brian right
Beckham.
away. I see your note here about the Chihuahua.
This is the best part of the episode that I've seen. Like, was this very huge man saying that he has a Chihuahua? Like, yes, of course, you should. I'm so glad you do.
I love it. Yeah, and he like clearly like really loves the dog too.
Yes.
Like, got a good relationship, and it's just such cute imagery. Like
It is.
6'8" dude like carrying the little Chihuahua around.
It's
I love
probably the reason 3 of the women wanted to match with him.
Is it the Chihuahua or is it the 6 foot?
Well, I think it's the 6'8". Like, I was really glad that Cordell and Serena got paired together because I feel like they obviously hit it off. You know, when they were talking by themselves, they had a bunch of similarities. Like they're both from the same place, and I just thought they seemed like they would work well together. So I'm curious to see what happens there. But yeah,
I will say Leah seems like a little, almost like nervous on camera.
yeah, definitely.
Kaylor was talking with Aaron. They were coupled up. And they seem super cute and like into each other.
Yeah.
So I love that. And then they're talking about like snuggling in bed and stuff, and she like seems into it. And then he goes, and then I'll give you a little teaser. And like her face like dropped all of a sudden, and she's like, what'd you say? And he's like, I'll give you a little teaser, like show you what it's all about or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was pretty much implying that like I'm gonna spoon you and get close enough for you to like feel how big my dick is or something like that. And it kind of seemed like out of left field and a little too soon.
Too soon.
And she went, yeah, I would like that, but like the way she said it was giving, I hate that you're throwing that out there. Like,
Yeah.
when we have barely known each other, it was so like uncomfortable seeing. And then like I felt like she just said that because, you know, you're in this couple and you're trying to like make it work and you want to give it a good shot, and I don't know, it felt awkward. And then like as they're walking away from where they were sitting, when he said that, he also said something about like, oh, we'll jump in the shower together, and she goes, calm down, like right away, like yells like calm down, and then she goes, oh, I'm just kidding. And
No. I don't think she was. Okay.
So yeah, I still like them together, but yeah, it's giving a little bit like I don't know. I feel like
Too
he's being
soon.
a little sexually pushy, probably because he's like feeling this chemistry between them, but
Right.
like,
but it's too much for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is understandable.
We just met.
Day one.
My brother.
Yeah. Right. So Rob and Leah are coupled up, and I cannot tell if they're cute or strange.
Yeah.
And when I say strange, I don't mean like them as individuals, but like as a couple, I can't tell if they fit together and
Yeah.
if I like it or I don't. I'm leaning on I don't because something about Rob gives me the ick. It
Same.
was weird when Hannah and Kendall were it kind of seemed like Kendall wasn't that into her at first, and then all of a sudden it seemed like he was very into her, and like they're making out and stuff all over the place. And other people saw them making out, and he looks out at other people like watching him, and he goes, "Pillow check," and then puts the pillow over his crotch. It just seemed like it was for the audience and not like what was because if something was actually happening, you would try to like kind of conceal it without like shouting it out to people, right?
Yeah. Odd choice.
So that felt weird. The British guy Aaron said to Kaylor, as I don't know, she made some kind she asked him what his shoe size was. That's what it was. And he said he's an 11, and he goes, UK though, and in the US I'm like a 10 or a 9 or something like that. And she goes, okay, well, that's not too bad. And then he goes, well, what do you mean too bad? And she's like, oh, you know what they say about shoe size, like laughing. And then he goes, no, I'm a 1-inch wonder. Your face said it all. And then she's like, what'd you say? And he's like, I'm not impressing anyone. He didn't say I'm not trying to impress anyone. He said, I'm not impressing anyone.
Why would
And
you volunteer that information?
it seems strange, right? Because you'd think
You're trying to make a connection, not scare them away.
the fact that he led with like, I'm not going to impress you was like, and then she like kind of laughed it off and was like something about the motion of the ocean, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's like all you can say, right?
What else can
That's
you
your
say?
only option.
Serena asked Kendall when they were getting to know each other if he listens to podcasts. And he kind of looks at her a little confused. And she goes, like, do you listen to like men on podcasts, like guys talking on podcasts? And he's like, no, like I haven't really gotten into podcasts yet, but like it's something I'm interested in getting into. Like, do you have any suggestions? And she goes, no, that was just a test.
That's incredible. Savage.
Love that.
Yes.
It's a great test, if we're being honest. Like,
Smart.
which men are you listening to on podcasts? So our curated list this week is it's very on brand, I would say. The title of it is Out of Touch Moments. And I'll just kind of hop right in. For me, an out of touch moment is when I try to tag people in TikToks. Now, I'm very good at this on Facebook and on Instagram because those are photo apps and I'm used
Yeah.
to tagging people in my photos. TikTok, not this. I have a routine with TikTok. I just type out the caption, I put in my hashtags, and we're done. And probably me putting in hashtags is like very millennial of me. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
don't even do that anymore.
Mm-mm.
I tend to, when I'm collaborating with someone, I tend to kind of forget to tag them in like half of the videos that they were collaborating with us in. And then I have to just kind of pop it in the comments on using the mute function appropriately on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any kind of.
Yep. Well, specifically Riverside. I only added one bullet point to the list, as is how I usually do things. And it's me muting myself every time I try to check to make sure I'm using the correct microphone in Riverside. I mute myself every time. And Tori's like, you muted yourself. And I'm like, oh, damn, again?
So my coworker and I had to present at this thing yesterday, and after there's supposed to be this like meeting that we go to, but we're 2 hours away from where we're supposed to go to. It was already a 12-hour day from us if we left at that time.
Gotcha.
So there was also an option to Zoom in to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So we leave and we Zoom in, or we're trying to zoom in, and as we're zooming in, we called in because we couldn't get in on the browser, so we had to dial in and type in the freaking 15-digit meeting code or whatever the hell that is.
Yes.
And there's a password on top of it. Anyway, so we get into the meeting, but we haven't been actually put into the meeting, if that makes
You're in
sense.
the waiting room.
Yes, the host hasn't put us in. And we're sitting here just talking some amount of trash. And it was kind of funny because we looked at the phone and we're like, are we muted? And we look over and we're like, yes, we are. Okay. But the speaker is coming over the car that we're driving, right? And then we look over and she goes, oh, what's this mute button for? And there was a mute button on the car as well. And then she hit that. So I was like, were we
muted?
Were we? I don't know which mute has precedence. The phone or the car. I don't know. No one sent us angry emails.
So more than likely you were muted.
Hopefully.
Or you just work with a lot of people.
Or we just weren't in the meeting.
True.
And then we ended up not ever being able to get into the meeting. And then there was another link that was sent for the meeting that we just didn't get because we were driving. And I saw that this morning.
That's fun.
So we missed the meeting, but we may have been there before knowing it.
Yeah, it's who can tell?
Talking trash, right? Yeah, but no one sent us angry emails, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think you're good on that.
So when we were presenting yesterday, the woman, as we're about to go up there, hands me a microphone, and she said, just so the microphone had been wonky all day, you could hear someone for a minute and then you couldn't hear him. It was going back and forth as far as being able to hear the person who's speaking or not. And this woman hands me the microphone and she goes, just don't hit that button, that's the mute button. And I go, oh, this one? It's so hard when someone says don't hit that button.
You have to.
The first thing, and my coworker's like, no, stop.
No more mute buttons today.
Yeah. So, microphones in general, just
tricky,
out of touch for me. I have on here, Boris is not the prime minister. We did get some feedback about that. We're now aware. Thank you for that. He, it seemed like it was for a long time that he was. All new to Amber.
Yeah, I was just not sure who Boris was in general. So I believed it. I was like, oh, okay, he's the prime minister. Sure.
Yeah, now she knows.
He's not.
I tell you, one thing you won't forget is his hair.
Never. He looks like freaking John and Kate +8, like Kate's hair. Freaking, you know what I'm talking about.
Every time we show something on our phones through the computer,
when we try to put up our phone, and you have to try to get it to focus, and then we're like, we can send it to each other.
So Amber and I can see each other. For those who are just listening and not watching, her and I can see each other's screens. And there's a lot of times when we're talking about things, and every single time, and we've known since the first episode, I think, that this does not work. Every single time we try to put our phone screen up to the camera and try to,
you can't see it. Yeah,
get it in focus when it's we know that we can just text that to each other.
Yeah.
But we still try to do it, so
it's fun. It's a little game we play.
It's out of touch.
Will it work? It's definitely out of touch, for sure.
Looking at emails, thinking, damn, all I get is junk mail anymore, and then realizing that that's because I'm in the junk box instead of the inbox.
But still, it's all, even if I do go to my inbox, it's still all junk. So really,
I think
the sentiment's not wrong.
I think that's why I didn't realize for a day or two that I was in the junk box, because I'm like, damn, the spam mail is kicked up a bit, but it's not that abnormal, right?
It's not.
it goes 2 or 3 days. I'm like, man, I really haven't gotten a relevant email in a
Does anybody need anything from me anymore or no? Like, we're all good to go. All the bills are paid.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right.
And then I back out and I'm like, no, I've just been hanging out in the drunk box. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, Amber, do you have the TikTok app on your phone? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, when people send you TikToks in a message, you know how, like, once you open it, you get that notification in TikTok and it says, like, this person has shared this video with you, and you have to, it's like a message in TikTok also
Yeah.
that you open. And then under the video that they share with you, there's these little, like, phrases. And I always thought that those are the phrases that someone had sent me after sending the video. But they're phrases that you can click on as responses. And it was funny because I remember a couple times I'm like, man, that's a very generic thing for this person to say. And I was like, maybe they're just like tired, you know? And then one of them was like so unhinged that I like really looked at it closely, and then I saw the fine print of like,
It's
click
like a
this.
quick response.
Yeah, click this to send the response.
That's incredible.
So
That's the best one on the whole list.
just found that out. Yeah. I thought this song, I Saw the Sign. Is that right? I'm saying it right when I say I saw the sign.
Yes. I'm pretty sure the song is called The Sign.
Oh my God. I always thought it said I saw the sun. And like this honestly feels life changing to me. Like that song is so overplayed. It's played everywhere, and I always thought it said I saw the sun.
It's
I
called
saw the sun.
The Sign.
God.
I'm just so
Um
disappointed. I can't believe you didn't know that song. Like
no, I know the song.
the words.
I'm kind of disappointed too cuz like I saw the sun. My entire life has always had like a certain like meaning to it. And then now I hear it's I saw the sun. It changes my whole life. Like
It's just like I saw the sun and it opened up my eyes.
I saw the sun and it opened up my eyes. I
I
saw
saw
the
the
sun.
sun.
It's so bright. You wake up. You open up your eyes to a beautiful day. The birds are singing. Like, and then the alternative is so much sadder. It's not the same. Literally, my whole life is ruined.
It's a completely different song than what you had once imagined, I'm afraid. That's incredible. And also amazing that you went that long thinking was I
Like
saw the
my
sun.
whole like until literally like 3 weeks ago or so. I'm 30 again. I'm 34 years old.
Your whole world just got turned upside down, to be honest.
No, it really did.
Yeah, because you didn't see the sun or the sign, apparently.
Mm.
Okay. So for story time, we're going to do some weird food service memories. So I was a barista for several years, and you get to know your customer base really well. And so if there's ever, somebody who's not a regular, you're just like, okay, who is this outsider? And that definitely happened to me when I served Weird Al Yankovic one time. And I brought him his tea and like, do you need anything else? And then it like registered, like he went to respond, and I was like, that is Weird Al Yankovic.
I cannot. I'm
How
sorry.
weird.
Just because I know like you worked in a rural area and I just cannot imagine.
Yes. But the funniest part was I went to my manager and I was like, hey, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that I just served Weird Al Yankovic. And she was like, no, you did not. No, you didn't. You did not
Which is
serve Weird Al.
that's an appropriate reaction, I would
But
say.
she was the one that took the order. She took his order.
I take it back.
She
Not
spoke to
appropriate.
him.
Not appropriate. I take it
And
back.
so she gaslit me into thinking like I was not serving Weird Al. So I was like, I'm just Weird Al. Okay, I'm just being weird. It's I'm crazy. Nobody else said anything. And then like a week later, we were at like a team meeting, so everyone was there, and I was like, well, I thought I was serving Weird Al Yankovic, and so and so told me I wasn't. And then somebody else spoke up and they were like, yeah, no, he was in town. He did a comedy show. You definitely did serve Weird Al. And
Oh my
it's just
god.
like such a journey. Um
Amazing.
yeah, he was very nice. Really
You're
nice.
famous.
Yeah, basically. It was great.
Now that you bring up your Weird Al story, I do have a little bit of a story of being actually working in the hospitality industry as well. I was working at a sandwich shop at a mall, like a kind of like ritzy mall, and this I'm in the back making like pizzas and flatbreads and stuff, and I hear a very familiar voice. And I look up and I say, well, that looks like Dave Chappelle. It looks
That's
like him.
amazing.
It sounds like him and it looks like him, but I said, it cannot be Dave Chappelle. Why would he be here? Right?
Yeah.
So I said, no, let it go. And I let it go. I kept making a sandwich or two. And then I hear it again and I look up and he's closer now. He's at the register. And I say, that sounds and looks like Dave Chappelle. So I looked at my coworker and I go, is that Dave Chappelle? And he said, no, it can't be Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I said, you're right. You're right. He wouldn't be here. And I go back and to looking at my pizzas and my flatbreads. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like running up to the front of the register and they're like, Dave Chappelle's here. Oh my God, it's Dave Chappelle. And then like he ate and then he went outside to smoke a cigarette. And everyone who worked there needed to smoke a cigarette at that time. And
That's
we
incredible.
all went there and he had like ridden his motorcycle there, and like there was a couple guys who like had motorcycles on our staff and they were just like all nerding out talking about motorcycles like boys who own motorcycles do. But I did meet Dave Chappelle. He was there and I sat outside and I smoked some of a cigarette in his
Nice.
presence. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, the next one is possibly my favorite. So a lot of times I think this is normal for people in food service that if you have a regular and they have a regular order, they order the same thing every time they come in, their name just becomes whatever it is that they ordered. Okay?
Yeah.
And I was an opener, so I used to get there very early and we'd open the coffee shop at 7 a.m. So the morning crew, especially, was always consistent. And my favorite person ever was this guy named Mike. And he super quiet, very kind, but he would just come in and he would say, I want a steak and white cheddar with double meat. Or actually, I don't even think a lot of times he would place the order online. So he would, pay for double meat. And he became Double Meat Mike.
Mm-hmm. I love
And
that.
and not only did he become Double Meat Mike, but people knew, others who were regulars knew that we had a regular named Double Meat Mike because he would come to pick up.
DMM.
Yeah, DMM. Yeah, we always wrote DMM on his cup. So he would come in to pick up and you'd walk back to the window and you'd be like, I need an order for Double Meat Mike. And then it just became a thing. And he was a real trooper. Like we really called him Double Meat Mike, and he walked through the door and responded to being called Double Meat Mike. And then my one thing I really loved doing when I was on the bar is I loved writing on people's cups. Like if somebody was having a bad day and they seemed upset or something like that, love writing on their cup and making them feel better. But one really unhinged thing that we would do super early in the morning when we were just like trying to wake up ourselves was we would just write weird unhinged haikus on people's cups.
Oh gosh. Oh my God. Sorry, I only said oh my god because I was picturing someone on the other end of my haiku.
Yeah. It was always really interesting to see what people would get. And there was a day where I swear I wrote a haiku on every single person's cup of my bar shift, which was like 7 hours long. Um yeah, I think people liked it. They were like, "Do I get a haiku today?" It's like, "No, get the fuck out. You don't get a
Right.
haiku today. Did you ask for a haiku? You thought you were going to get one?" No.
Did you put that in the order selection? I
Yeah.
didn't see it, and
Did you see Double Meat Mike's order notes? He wrote double meat. And then my last and probably my best, just kidding, memory was from the last year that I worked at this establishment, and actually like in the last couple of months. And so it was during COVID, and restaurant life got kind of weird. If you worked in the restaurant industry during COVID, like people just didn't know what to do. They're like, where do I order? Am I even allowed to be here? Like, what do I do? And I was the queen of to go orders. So I was always going in and out of the front door, and then curbside started. So it was just like a hectic role to fill. And I just remember like I was super busy that day, and I was like running back and forth between, answering the phone and taking curbside orders out. And I noticed kind of a disturbance on the patio, if you will. And one of them was a regular who was always so quiet and nice and barely said a word. Like he would give you his order and that was it. And he was screaming at this like teenage boy because this boy's dog shit on the sidewalk and in front of the coffee shop, and the kid didn't pick up the dog shit. And he was actually what the man yelling at him didn't realize is it wasn't just a teenage boy and his dog. He was there with his parents and his sibling. So this giant man is like, "Hey, you need to pick up that shit." Literally literally screams, "Hey, you need to pick up that shit." And I'm like taking a to-go order to the car, and I hear it and I'm like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" And so I, for some stupid reason, position myself between them.
Okay.
And they're just screaming at each other over me. Like they're both way tall. Even the teenage boy is like
And
towering
you're
over
like
me.
6'1", or I said 6 foot, 5 foot, 5'1", five
On a
foot
good
two.
day. On a good
Okay,
day.
five
Yeah.
foot, 5 foot.
And so they're basically just like pushing me back and forth, like yelling at each other.
Oh
And
my god!
none of my coworkers, it was so chaotic on the inside, like nobody saw it. And so I came back inside and I was just like, I just had to break up a fight between a grown man and a teenage boy over dog shit on the sidewalk. And I was so furious. And I was like, you all need to get out. All of you can leave. And then like the
Do
next time I saw that regular, like we didn't make eye contact. I was like, I'm not talking to
no.
that guy. Like I know he meant well, but like
Mhm.
he was protecting us. Like he just like shouted it because it was like
Right.
he sat in the corner and watched and waited for this kid to pick up the shit, and then he didn't. So like the longer it took for him not picking it up, this guy just was like just silently fuming.
I'm
Follow us on Instagram at Out of Touch PCast. Follow us on TikTok at Out of Touch Moments. And please, for the love of fucking Christ, send us an email at outoftouchcast@gmail.com.
boom.
Bye.